Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Soulstone Survivors. Yes, I am reviewing yet another Vampire Survivors clone. I'm so sorry, I just can't stop playing them. I have a serious problem. Is this version focusing on insane synergies and builds worth checking out? Soulstone Survivors is currently available on early access on PC only via Steam, where it will set you back about $10. In its current state, it'll probably take you around 10 hours to unlock everything, but there is more to come. It is a game to be played many times, and each run will last you about 10 to 20 minutes. So what exactly is Soulstone Survivors? Well, it's another in the now widely popular Horde Survival genre. I think that's what we're calling it. Reverse bullet hell, Vampire Survivors clone, whatever. You know what this is. The gist is, of course, the same. You're put into a large arena of ever-spawning enemies, and then your attacks auto-fire on set cooldowns. It's up to you to kill as much as possible to level up, gain new abilities and powers, and eventually kill 5 bosses per stage. Soulstone Survivors stands out amongst the crowd, however, with its emphasis on absolutely insane build synergies. See, every attack in the game, and you can hold up to 6 and swap them out, is part of a handful of categories such as fire, projectile, forward facing, etc. While many passives will be your usual generic kinds like increased attack speed, increased damage, whatever, often you'll hit upgrades that will affect all weapons you have of the same class, such as all fire weapons now get a massive damage boost. Because of this, synergizing your weapons can lead to some insane power spikes should you get lucky, and since weapons share multiple categories, it might be a different batch next time. That isn't all though, as the game has a large number of debuffs that also synergize together. For instance, you might have a weapon that does damage, but it does more if an enemy is bleeding. You may then get a passive that if you apply poison to an enemy, it'll also apply bleeding, meaning your poison move is now more versatile. You can see where this is going. Debuffs synergize into more debuffs, and to be honest, I have no clue how many debuffs are actually in this game. I'd say more than a dozen. Runs themselves also play a little differently, as rather than being on a timer to survive, you have to kill a certain number of trash mob enemies to spawn a boss. After doing this 5 times, you win the map. After being a map, there's a lot of more difficulty modifiers to run through the map again, with higher rewards and risk. Another interesting combat twist is that most enemies project attacks rather than damaging on contact, meaning the game becomes a lot more skill-based around dodging attacks that you can see coming, rather than just avoiding enemy contact. Aside from runs, you'll have your standard persistent progression. You have the usual buff everybody skill tree, but also a ton of characters to unlock, each with their own mastery bar that allow you to unlock different starting weapons, and as expected, each character has its own set of synergies with their weapon, meaning they can affect your build path as well. So all in all, Soulstone Survivors is a Survivors game with Hades-style synergies if Hades were on crack cocaine, and upgrading graphics and some wild build synergies that I definitely haven't mentioned enough times already. So what do I like about Soulstone Survivors? Well, it's absolutely fantastic synergies, yes, I'm saying it again, allow for some really great builds, as well as quickly getting to that state that feels really great where you feel just completely overpowered. Additionally, when it comes to the characters and skills, there is a lot of variety here, and unlocking new stuff and trying it out definitely enhances replayability. Lastly, I found this game to be extremely addicting. Runs were usually pretty short, which meant you got really powerful very quickly, and there was always a new upgrade to get or thing to find or whatever that could keep me coming back. When it comes to the bad in the current early access build, there isn't really a ton of content map-wise, and also the same kind of batch of enemies tends to show up across multiple maps and runs. It does make things feel a bit samey sooner than I would have liked. Additionally, this game can be a massive grind if you're really trying to get everything, and with the limited amount of content to play on, in its current state, that might wear on you. Lastly, this game does have a weird thing where it can be difficult to know where your build is flawed and where it is working because of just how many moving parts there are. This isn't like a massive negative, but it can be frustrating if you're the kind of person like me who likes to try and min-max things. As you know, games here on a 3-point scale, must play, maybe consider, don't bother. I absolutely think you should play Soulstone Survivors. I'm gonna be honest, I play a ton of Vampire Survivors clones, almost as many as Dark Souls clones that I play, and this one might be my favorite out of all of them. It's Hades-style, insane synergies paired with the great graphics and just tons of quality of life stuff make it feel like a really polished example of what the genre should be. While this early access release is still a bit light on content, I'm certain there's going to be much more to come, and if you have any affinity for Vampire Survivors, games that make you feel powerful, or games that encourage strong builds, Soulstone Survivors is going to be your drug of choice. But that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played Soulstone Survivors, did you play the preview, the demo, any of that, please let me know in the comments. But regardless, I highly recommend going out there and giving it a shot.